Hi, Erin. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for coming in. Today we're going to be talking about your Myers-Briggs Type Indicator Career Report. So you did this a few weeks ago, I believe. Do you remember taking it at all?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts about the process or anything like that?
Not really. I didn't think it was difficult or anything like that. The questions are pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Just so you know, obviously everything we talked about here will stay here. But if you have any other questions or you'll have your own copy to take home. After you leave here, feel free to give me a call or we can meet up again. No big deal either way. So this is kind of like the SII that we went over in the last, session. This is just another tool to use. So don't feel like you, again, have to be married to it. Like, if this doesn't align up for what you are looking for, going to your grad program for, it's okay. In fact, throughout, it gives you a lot of resources and action steps on how you can compare what you are looking for as opposed to what it suggests. So, and how that kind of fits in for you. So, just as like a brief introduction, this first page, it applies, again, like I said, for the results from your Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, and it basically helps you identify your job families, which is what in occupations, which is what it will, that's lingo it'll use throughout a lot of the results of your report. And just as an FYI, these job families and specific occupations are used in this report are adapted from the ONET system of occupational classification. So this is a standard method of classifying occupations. So it's not like, this is just used on 5 people and this is what they used it for. So
okay.
Big broad picture there.
Okay.
And like I said, only one source of information. As the report goes through, there's essentially 5 sections of it. It'll have, the summary of your results, how your specific type affects your career choice, your career exploration, your career development, and then the jobs, families, and occupations that are best fit for your type.
Okay.
In ranking order and most popular and least popular occupations, okay? So, first and foremost is your summary of your MBTI results. You'll basically, there's these 4 sections here. First, where you focus your attention, the way you take in information, the way you make decisions, and how you deal with the outer world. So it's kind of like an A or B. Okay, so extroversion versus introversion, sensing versus intuition, and so on and so forth. Your reported type is ENFJ, which is extroversion, N for intuition, F for feeling, and J for judging. Okay? So not only does this kind of indicate what your preferences are for your, how the job occupation clarity kind of works for you, but it also expresses like how clear you are in a specific preference given your roles and occupations. So they have this little thing called the PCI, which is the Preference Clarity Index, and it's just a bar graph down here that basically says, the longer the bar, so there's like this 0 range here in the middle, and then it goes all the way up to 30 both sides, depending on which side of the A or B model you are. Okay. So obviously the longer your graph, or longer your bar is within the graph, the more very clear you are. And it looks like, based on your results, that you're very clear on your intuition, quite clear. I mean, that's not an option, but you're pretty close to very clear on both extroversion and feeling, and then moderate within judging.
Okay.
So does anything there stick out to you or surprise you at all?
Nothing like totally stands out on the page. I can understand why the judging is so much lower than the other 3, because that says that, I tend to like things that are planned and organized. And don't get me wrong, I would consider myself probably more of a planner and organizer than not, but do I think I'm super awesome at it? So I can see, I try to do that kind of stuff to keep my life in some kind of array that I understand and don't forget, so that I can see. It's just could probably be better at it. So that would be the only thing that sticks out. The other stuff, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Okay, cool. All right, so moving right along, this next part here, again, how your type affects your career choice. So the kinds of tasks and work environment that tend to be preferred by you ENFJs, which as I was looking over this, I thought this was a great way for you to remember this. EN is the first and last initial of your name, Erin. FJ, Fort Jennings is where you're from. So you should forever remember. When I was going over this, I'm like, ENFJ. I don't even need to look at the paper. I just know that's what she is. So there you go. So everything is shown in these charts below here. First, your preferred working tasks, and then followed by your preferred working environment based on your type. So you want to look those over.
Yeah. Actually, none of this even looks strange to me at all.
Really?
The first thing I looked at here when it says helping others structure their time and their deadlines, I was like, really? But no, what I do now, that's what I do with students. I mean, I help them structure their time, meet their deadlines, make sure they get their homework turned in, that kind of thing. So no, it totally makes sense. At first glance, I was like, maybe not me, but it's what I do. Helping teams arrive at a consensus. Yes, I am the peacekeeper. I want everybody to find something that they can agree with and work together and get along and all kumbaya. So yeah, I can get that too. Same thing, teams achieving a common goal. I do that with my students. I do that with my department, to make us, help make us more efficient, yes, so I can see that. Focusing on people and process issues rather than on technical problems. Heck yeah. I'm not a technical person. I am all about people and feeling and making them feel good. So listening to and understanding the needs of customers, clients, and colleagues. I'm getting my master's in counseling, so that's probably good. So yeah, all of those, helping develop new skills. I do that with students. All boom, fall in there. Work environment. Yeah, I like to work with others. Has public spaces where people can meet formally and informally. I guess I have that now where I work, so that would make sense, people can meet me in the public or they can meet me in private depending on how they're comfortable. So I get that, I guess. Working in harmony with others towards shared goals. Just using the word harmony makes me realize it's about me. So yeah, promotes collaboration and harmony. There we are again, very much. Fosters teamwork, provides opportunities for volunteering. I don't do a ton of volunteering. It's always been something that I want to do right now in my life, and probably the past 15 years. I have kids. Volunteering and working full-time hasn't been something that's been possible, but someday, maybe.
There you go.
So yeah, how it affects my career choice screams me yes.
Okay, perfect. So it sounds like we've hit the nail on the head so
Yes.
far. All right. So then following up with that, you have how your type affects your career exploration. You have your strengths listed here based on what your types are.
Okay.
And then followed by a section that talks about your challenges that may come with because you have these strengths and the suggested strategies. But first, I just want you to focus solely on the strengths. Take a look at that and tell me what you think.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can see all of that. I don't feel I have an extensive network of people yet, but that's something that I continue to work on, within the area that I would like to work. You know, I very much reach out to people that I know that might be able to help me become a contact or whatever in the future. So yes, I want that. I don't believe that it's as good as it could get. But yeah, I think of myself as a team player. Yeah, caring and concerned for others, sure. Personal contact with interviewers. I can't recall one interview where it wasn't like talking with a friend. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Great. So then, like I said, the challenges, and then read through those, and these are just suggestions, strategies to overcome or work through those challenges if you ever come in contact with you.
Believe it or not, I agree with most of them too. I can see I run into a lot of that stuff now. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You may have trouble adjusting plans to respond to unexpected opportunities. That one probably the least out of all of them.
Okay.
I don't usually have trouble adjusting to it. I'm a lot of times shocked by it. So if that's what they're talking about, then maybe. You may talk too much in interviews. I don't know that I've ever had that problem. The suggestion that they give, make an effort to pause during interviews, ask questions and allow others to talk. I know that I'm a talker, so I'm very well aware of it. So I always have made that like a thing, like when I'm talking with somebody, to remind myself, your turn's up, let somebody else. So I'm very conscious of that because I know I talk. May overlook important facts about the job. Maybe sometimes I can be kind of fly by the seat of my pants where I could see maybe that would happen. Mm-hmm. List questions. I do write things down like that with people that I know I'm going to be in contact with that I think can help me in a certain situation. So I get that. This one here may make decisions you think will please others. My entire life. Yes. All I ever do. So this is one that this strategy that I would need to work on. Before you make a decision, think about whether it will help you meet your goals. Yes, 100%. I need to do that more often. You may not appear sufficiently task-oriented to thinking interviewers. I will agree. The difference is I typically don't gravitate towards jobs where I'm going to be interviewed by where thinking, or that sounds terrible, but you know, that type mm-hmm. of that part of the type isn't usually the job area that I'm interviewing at. You know, usually mm-hmm. what I'm doing, I tend to gravitate towards people that are more feeling than thinking. And
sure. So it sounds like this one, you could come into a situation where you're interviewed by a thinking, but most likely chances are probably not.
Right.
These top ones, it sounds like you kind of work at. Mm-hmm. The suggested strategies seems like something you've already paid attention to, and then you've got this one, the pleasing others is the one area that you'd say you have to worry
I know
about.
Forever I have been told I need to work on that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because the report gives you kind of this whole pick one at a time, work at it. But honestly, like it sounds like there's really only one that you've never touched base at. So obviously that gives you room for growth, but it also kind of underwhelms the challenges aspect of it because you've already worked on a lot of it.
I've been alive for a while. The longer you've been alive, you learn what your shortcomings are and how to adapt. So yes.
Sure.
Yes, and I think that honestly, maturity has a lot to do with that. You know, like I say, the older you get.
Yeah, self-awareness and all that.
You pay more attention to that stuff.
Sure. Okay, very cool. All right, next up we have how your type affects your career development. So this almost always involves coping with the new demands that come naturally to you and often requires working and communicating with people with different preferences. So basically, in a lot of ways, conflict
Sure.
that may happen within the within your workplace. So listed below, we have some typical strengths of and challenges placed, by the ENFJs, which is what you are. So similar to last page, just a little bit different. So first, again, take a look at your strengths.
Yeah. I see a lot. I like to advocate for
Okay.
people who are in need of somebody to advocate, and I see a lot of that in there as my strength. So yeah, I can recognize that.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. And then similarly, again, you've got your challenges. Take a look at those and then the suggested strategies.
It is so funny. Yes. You may expect everyone to sacrifice as much for the task as you do. Yes. I'm a passionate person. I believe strongly on things, and I know this, and I know that I have to back down or back off sometimes, so I don't give somebody that nasty taste in their mouth about me. So I'm aware of it. Again, I'm old, and I think that that's just evolving as a person. You learn where you fall. But it does have, I like the way it puts it, to ask people of different types what motivates them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I can find their niche, and working with a client, not all of my clients are going to be like me. So having that ability to ask them, what motivates you is going to help me be better at what I do, because I'm going to be more effective that way. So, and asking yourself what you get out of sacrificing so much, that goes into the trying to please everybody thing. So yeah, it's a good question to ask myself on a regular basis. Money, not my forte. I definitely ignore the bottom line. I'm not a finance person. So it says, find a coach or a mentor. I have a financial guy that helps me. So I know that
You've got your coach and more mentor, however you want to call him.
Because I am not that person, so I got that. You can become discouraged if you do not receive a lot of feedback. I am a feedback junkie, yes. I tell every supervisor that I have, if I'm doing something wrong, you have to tell me. I can't change how I'm doing things if I don't know. So I am big on feedback. I love it. I thrive on it. I know I can't be better at what I do if I don't get it. So, and it says ask directly for feedback. I do that a lot. Request feedback from people that you trust. Yes, I do that a lot too, because I know if I ask feedback from people that I don't trust, it's very discouraging for me, because sometimes it doesn't come back as feedback as much as it's criticism. And I am all for constructive criticism, but I know that I don't do well with non-constructive criticism. So it's a good strategy there to make sure that I'm asking feedback from people that I trust and stuff like that. So
Interesting.
it's all very, me.
Yeah, and again, it sounds like you're very honed in on knowing your challenges, and it sounds like you, again, actively.
I work at it. It's not perfect, but I am aware of my challenges. I'm not
I think
perfect.
That's half the battle a
Right.
lot of the times.
Right. I struggle sometimes with the suggestions that they say there, so it's always nice to have that reminder that, hey, if you want this, maybe look at it or go about it in this different way. So I like that.
Yeah. And then another thing was really cool, again, with these action steps, which I kind of mentioned at the beginning, if you were to go online and, type in counseling specifically, since that's what you're going into, it will give you kind of what the challenge is and whatnot based on your strengths within that specific role, which is really cool and something I think that's intriguing. So
Sure.
something a little additional that you can check out
Wonderful.
afterwards. Okay. So then this next big section, this is the job, families, and occupations. So again, this is, it's a number of specific occupations that show the rank and popularity among people like you, ENFJs. This ranking is based on information from a sample of more than 92,000 people in 282 jobs who said they were satisfied with their jobs. And so I think that that's important to kind of keep in mind because, again, this is a broad sample and it's kind of giving a generalized thing.
Sure.
The chart on the next page, we'll go over, shows the popularity of 22 job families among ENFJs divided into 3 groups, which is the most attractive, the moderately attractive, and the least attractive. Okay. So when you're reviewing it, obviously it's important to review all 3 sections for the simple fact of your specific career might not be in the most attractive. It could be somewhere lower. But at the same time, you will also want to check to make sure that, you kind of see other options if, it never hurts to just open your eyes to
Sure.
what might be out there, okay?
Sure.
So take a look at this and tell me what you think.
I can agree with most of them, yes. I think it's funny that even some of these showed up there even on least attractive and had a score. So I found that interesting. Farming, fishing, and forestry, never. I was raised by farmers. Kudos to them. It's not easy work. That's fine. But not.
Not for you.
No. So I think that's kind of funny. Lawyer. I guess there was a brief moment in my life where I thought about being a lawyer. I can argue with the best of them, but and then the social sciences fall into there, which would be psychologist. That I can totally see too. I've done a lot of office and administrative support in my life, so yes. And I know that the food part comes because there was things about cooking, and that's like a pastime of mine. I enjoy doing that, so I can see that. The healthcare stuff, I've always, we live in the area that we live in, and healthcare has always been like a big job market because there's not a whole lot of big industry and stuff around here. So sure, I think everybody who's lived around here at one time or another has thought about healthcare in some way, so I get that. 100 community and social services. Well, that's good. The art and design and entertainment. Yeah, I like media. I like pop culture. I like art and all that kind of stuff. I don't know that I have the talent for it, but I can see that. So yeah, I guess I think that it's kind of surprising like how far I am on there, but nothing totally surprising otherwise.
No, and I think too, like that extroversion piece kind of comes in there with those
Sure.
two. I mean, specifically like the reporter, the coach, you obviously have to be outgoing for
Sure.
that. So, and working in any type of education setting, I mean, I guess you could be a quiet teacher, but I don't know. I don't know what I don't know how.
What your classroom
Yeah,
is
I don't know
gonna
what
look
that's
like.
going to look like for your kids down the road. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I work in education now. I'm not a teacher, but I do work in education. So,
okay.
so that makes sense to me, and I have to be one of those people that are like a teacher when it comes to stating things that students don't want to hear.
Sure.
So I get that.
Okay, cool. So then this last section kind of just what, I said before at the beginning, this last part just kind of goes over your most popular occupations in a very specific manner. So there's 24 listed things here. So looks like counselor and a couple forms comes up. Oh, there you are.
24.
It's up there. But
And I guess it's not just for me, it's for everybody in
and
that.
the ENFJs, yes, correct.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. So and what I thought was really intriguing too is most of it says right in the report, most of the popular occupations involve working directly with people as a helper, counselor, teacher, or administrator. So you're right.
Hit the nail on the head.
You did hit the nail on the head again. So that's great. And then this last page just goes over the least attractive ones, so or least popular ones, which I don't think look to be too surprising in any way, shape, or form.
No, not really.
No. So, any thoughts? Any questions, concerns, comments?
Not really. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, and like I said, there's not a whole lot on there that looks all that surprising to me, so
Well, good.
it's good.
It sounds like you very accurately answered a lot of the test questions or the tool questions then, so that's great.
Yep.
All right, well, this is yours to keep. If you have any questions, obviously, like I said, feel free to contact me. We can go over it more, but if that's it, then thanks for coming in today. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Yep.